I will introduce myself. My name is Tomek Majka, and officially at Imponderabilia, my position is called Old Man, Young Brain. Actually, I work for the industry for the 27 years, starting from various positions in the distribution, then moving to production, and now focusing on the recruitment side. So I'm trying to, I will try today to answer the question whether the industry is in real crisis after what we have heard yesterday and the day before, or the industry is just getting mature. So actually, we've done a lot of things in the industry, making games, distributing games, and now I'll try to answer the question.
Perfect. Then the floor is yours.
Yeah?
Can we get some applause?
Okay. The question is very valid at this moment because we are hearing a lot of information about the layoffs, the project cancelled, studios closed. So everyone is asking us, is it a real crisis? Yeah. But to answer the question, I believe we have to go back over 220 years. In 1798, French Revolution came and it started modern economy. After that, the steam transport has grown, and we started to count the making stuff as an industry. So we talk about the age of the modern economy, comparing to the age of the game dev industry. Where are we? We are at the early startup stage. Yeah. So, as the early startup stage, we are suffering a lot of problems and making a lot of mistakes that every startup is making. I would like to stress a couple of things. The presentation here and what is on the screen is just a snapshot of my thoughts, but there are a couple of valid informations that will be presented there. How economy is working since 1798. It works in the same way all the time. It works that there are ups and downs. We call it the normal economic cycle. So let's try to figure out what's it all about, how it impacts on the game dev industry. So yeah, we've got economy, we've got time, we've got peak, throw, we've got recovery and prosperity. And then there is another peak and then another fall. And actually, we start from the different point. If we start from the different point that is higher than the previous one, that is good. It creates the trend line. And I would like to show you another slide, which is how the game dev industry was growing over the years. As you can see, it's not very visible, but you can see the shape. Yeah. Okay, I don't want to miss. Please have a look at this point. Please have a look at this point. Please have a look at this point. Does it remind you something? We are not different than the other industries. We feel the same cycle as every other industry. There is an ups and downs. In our industry, it's a 14 years. Every 14 years, something is happening. Something is happening to make a change on the market and make the things different. Usually, it's going down. But have a look at the trend. The trend still grows. And if we have a look, for example, where you are, sorry, not this one. Where we are now, it is 23, sorry. The value of the market is huge. What has happened, we know, and it was explained many times, that because of the pandemic situation, the market started to blow away. Okay, fine. But the cycle needs to go over and over again. So it started to go down, not because of pandemic, only because of pandemic, because it is like it is. Yeah? Only the scale of the downgrade depends on the different external situations, like Embracer, like mistakes done by investors and so on. But if it wouldn't happen, we would have definitely the same situation with a decline on the market. But let's have a look here. This is the value of the market. It will go down probably like this, but the decline will be bigger than the whole market in 1984. Because the percentage will remain the same, but we will start from the different perspective. And of course, it has been also explained that the bottom line of the bottom of a decline, which assumed to be at the end of this year, will be exactly at the point of the trend line created by the history of the development of the game dev industry. So what I mean is that if it wouldn't happen, and the pandemic situation, the industry would grow in the same way. So by implication, ergo facto quod erat demonstratum, we should completely decline last 2 years from the history of our industry, because it's annually. It shouldn't happen. But again, there will be another one. Sorry, another one here, and another one in another 14 years, maybe 15. Of course, what does it mean for us, and how it answers the question at the beginning, whether it is crisis or we are getting mature. Definitely, we are starting to get out from the startup phase of the industry. With the startup, industry has 40 years, comparing to 220, more or less like a startup. We had a couple of phases, pre-seed, seed, growth, and so on. So I would say we as an industry are in the growth or expansion phase like startups are. Which is good, because it means that there are still places to grow and to expand. But something has happened, and we are now in the decline situation. And to make you a picture of that we are not different than any other businesses in the world, just a quick number. Last year, officially, and these are the numbers generated by some aggregators, that there were 15,000 people laid off from the companies. There are many, many, many more, because it's only those who are officially announced, and sometimes we don't even know that the studios with 15, 20 people are completely closed. In the whole industry, I mean the IT industry, last year, 2023, there was 263,000 people laid off. In 2021, we had about 3,000, comparing to 165,000 people laid off. And this year, we already have about 7.5, almost 8,000 people laid off, comparing to 46,000 people in the IT industry. So what does it mean? It simply means that we are no longer the babies. We are starting to be normal members of the global economy, where the wars, lack of resources, floods, thermal conditions, ozone zone will affect our industry as any other industries in the world. Yeah? Because we always believe that, okay, we are so young, we are 10, because most of us that are here are in this industry for the last 15 years, 10, 15 years. So this is, as you can see, this is the time of a permanent growth. Yeah? It will not be like this, yeah? And I don't know if I want to go a little bit to Polish market after all, but because I was asked for you to inform you about how I believe it's happening. But I don't know if any of you know the term, I need to read it, acromegalia. Does anyone know what it is? Okay. Acromegalia is a hormone disease, a growth hormone disease. Yeah? We call it sometimes mutant disease. So let's talk about Poland, because I gave you a little bit of a shape of the industry and how global economy works and how it will work with our industry. So now let's go to Poland, the dreamland of game developers. Yeah, 600 active game dev studios, 15,000 people involved, 1.2 billion revenue, instant supply of people from Ukraine and Belarus. So is it really a dreamland for the game developers? Let's think about it from the perspective of the baby growing with the problems of acromegalia. Yeah? Everything is growing. The bones are growing. The system is growing. The heart is growing. But is it good if it is growing without the instant supply of other elements of your body? No, it doesn't. It's absolutely little. So when I'm talking about how Polish game dev market was growing, I would say it's a little bit like this baby that was growing too fast. And was growing very fast, very rapid. 600 studios, come on guys. This is the number that is not seen, I think, even in Germany, yeah? And they are on the market much longer than this. If we go back to my previous slide, we have started our journey somewhere here. Yeah, maybe here. Yeah? As industry. So if we are even younger than the global industry, so how can we survive if we are growing without supporting our body with the knowledge, expertise, and experience? Difficult. So the very important factor of the current situation in Polish market and all these threats and all these fears comes from the pretty simple fact. Most of our studios are created by the developers, geeks, friends, because this is normal state of phase of the startup. So in Poland, if the global game dev industry is at the, let's say, not growth, but even further in the startup approach, we are earlier. Yeah. So friends, colleagues, creating studios, making games, lovely, fantastic. But there is absolutely lack of system knowledge, experience, expertise, and people in our industry are still working in this magic circle, where do not allow people from other industries to join and to give some sort of new approach to the industry. I can, with the big companies, I must admit, it happens big, which are the corporations. But okay, 600 studios. Sorry, I need to move further. 600 studios, and we've got big five. Yeah, CDP, Techland, PCF, 11 Bits, Flying Wild Hog, 10 Square Games. Okay, we've got 10 big studios. And 590 smallers. So we need to give a little bit of a fresh blood to just to survive this cycle, which is necessary to just as every single part of the industry. And the managerial skills are something that is very difficult to teach and to get from when you're born. It's coming from experience and coming from learning. So we need to bring people from the other industries just to help the studios to survive. The other issue is that there was a vast number of people that are graduating. They are finishing the skills courses and trying to get in. So how can we reply to the newcomers? Okay, usually we should tell them, okay, it's not the good time. No, yeah. Please come back in a year time. I would say no, it's not. Because actually, I would say, let's have a look at what is your level of competence, and let's say what you know. Yeah, because sometimes it's absolutely crucial for people for the younger and new entrants to give them the chance. But if we don't find a job right now, and how this situation impacts on the labor market, there is more people on the market than the jobs available. That's natural. And one statement from my course that I had, that looking for a job is a full-time job. Yeah. So first of all, understanding this statement. Yeah, looking for a job is a full-time job. If we will not find a job, then look for the other options. Look for the other options outside the major area of your interest, like a game dev. I must admit, nothing will change if you will not change. And the last but not the least, I would say, game dev is not the end of the world. I'm the example of person who used to be in the game dev, became a waiter for 2 years, yeah, after this, then came back to the industry. So absolutely nothing will, if you have got a passion and determination to work in this industry, if it will not work this year, it can work the next year. But be sure that with this determination will work. People will ask me now, the crisis, okay, maturing of the game dev industry is affecting not only the labor market, but also the resources people using to make making games, so AIs and all this stuff. It will. So there is another skill to be learned, how to use these new resources to make games. So the one thing that one advice that I'm giving to everyone: adopt, yeah, and don't stay tight with your original ideas. How to make how to make your gaming life. Yeah. The summary was: the world does not end on game dev, which is strange. I should say it is. It does, but it does not. Yeah. That's pretty much about it, because I had only 30 minutes to talk about the global economy and so on and so on. And I don't want to extend too much. But I think I've already done a little bit too much.
You're still on time. So.
Okay, so it's time for Q&A and some questions, if you've got any.
So do we have...
Hi, my name is Karina. Thank you for the talk. So I feel like we as an industry in a bit of a crisis, and for the last couple of years, it feels like it's got more about money, about like quarterly reports, and not about like games and how companies treating their players. So how do you think this change will affect creativity in general in the industry? Thank you.
Okay. Wherever something wrong is coming to your life, it makes you thinking how to resolve it. Yeah. And the same is with global stuff. When we make it bigger in terms of the way of thinking, wherever something wrong is coming to industry, the industry itself is working on how to resolve it. Okay, definitely something wrong happened in economy that helps us to being mature, so fit a little bit more to the global economy. But as members of this industry, we are all working. Let's think about the global stuff. Think wide. We need to. It will recover in terms of creativity. Okay. It will bring. It will give us more opportunity to show, and we will have the more competitors. The market will be more competitive, so we'll need to be more creative in terms of job hunting, in terms of what we do and how we do. So I believe in the magic hand of the market that will basically build not only the financial foundations, but also how we work and what we do. Yeah. I don't know if it answers your questions.
Maybe I will clarify. So as the industry maturing, it's becoming more of a business, less of a fun. I remember, I don't know, when I attended the E3, there was like a cool booths with like dragons and stuff, and people created crazy stuff like, I don't know, like a goat simulator, something like this. And like, I feel, this is my personal feeling, I don't know if it's global or not, that it's becoming more about money, like a business, because we're growing and maturing, because games were always business.
Yes,
but now it's like clear business to me. Like, and if there are more business-oriented decisions, there are less risky decisions, risky creative for me.
I fully agree, because actually making games is a high risk business. It's a big money investment, difficult to calculate those risks. So yeah, I agree. We are getting to be a business, but on the other hand, you can have a look on the film industry. Is it pure business, or there's some art in it? Yeah, so we will be the same. Yeah, there will be games that are made just for money. Yeah, low risk, low cost, good retention. But there will be also an art style games. Yeah. So I think being a mature market is something like the movie industry was in late 70s, beginning of 80s. Yeah, so we're more or less about this stage. Yeah, no more questions. Yeah, there is a question.
No, we have a time for one more question.
How about unsustainable business practices? Like, for example, there's a lot of live service games that kind of expect you to spend all your time in there and all your money in there, but there's many of them, and there seems to be even more being made. How does invisible hand of the market resolve that?
Yeah, I hardly listen to you. So can you try?
Yeah, sure.
Answer?
How about unsustainable business practices?
Okay.
For example, there's a lot of live service games, and each of them expects you to spend all your time and all your money playing that specific game, and basically doesn't give you much time to play anything else. But there seems to be more and more of those getting made. How does the invisible hand of the market resolve that? It doesn't seem to work yet.
Yet, but it will. Definitely, if something is going over the edge and is going to sort of extreme, the market itself is giving the sign, okay, stop it. Then the level of involvement of the gamers in this kind of in the product, because I don't call it games, it's a product, yeah. And the number of people that are using this product will drop. Yeah, and I absolutely believe that will happen, because if you are doing over and over and over the same thing, trying to maximize the profit without thinking and making clearing balance, then you are a loser. Yeah.
So it's just a matter of a bigger time frame.
It's just a matter of scale, yeah? At a certain point of time, it will just...
Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank
you very much.
Give a big round of applause.